Everybody in this room has this unique opportunity to live out your dream. And the journey that we're about to go on is going to be a hard journey. We're going to be challenged at every turn. The expectations are going to be high. The standards are going to be high. The accountability is going to be high. I make a pledge to you. Our staff makes a pledge to you. Make a pledge to yourself and to each other. We'll hold ourselves and each other accountable to those standards.
It's week number 15 of this NFL season, and it's time for another edition of the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. I'm Bill Jones, along with Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett, here inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios at the Star in Frisco. Big win over the Giants last week. Now go for 3 in a row against the Oakland Raiders. It's Sunday night football, and might be the last trip to Oakland for the Cowboys franchise. 2 storied franchises hooking up once again.
Yeah, no question about it. Great history and tradition with both the Cowboys and with the Raiders. Some great games against these teams between these 2 franchises through the years. The biggest thing we're focused on is this team and what we need to do to play our best football on Sunday night.
Well, when we look back at last week's game against the Giants, how about we start with Rod Smith? Of course, with the Ezekiel Elliott suspension, you're looking for next man up in the as far as the running backs are concerned. Alfred Morris has done his part, and Rod Smith came through when you needed him to at crunch time during that game.
You know, both he and Alfred Morris have done an excellent job for us in Zeke's absence. And, you know, Alfred's been running the ball more on 1st and 2nd down, and Rod's been more of a situational player for us on 3rd down, short yardage goal line. But he came up time and time again in that ball game. You know, at the end of the game, the big reception that he goes and makes the big touchdown run on was a critical play in the ball game. And then we came back, you know, right at the very end to seal the deal when we ran the crack play to the left-hand side of the defense. And he's doing a really good job. He's someone who shows up every day and ready for his opportunities, been taking advantage of them.
It's really neat to see that joy, too, especially knowing his backstory. Of course, he was Zeke's teammate at Ohio State, and working to have this opportunity and then making the most of it. You can understand why he would have such joy.
Yeah, he plays with a great spirit, and he comes to work every day, and whatever we ask him to do. You know, his career kind of started as a special teams guy and took advantage of every opportunity there. He's still one of our core special teams players. When he's gotten more and more work on offense, he's ready for it, and he takes advantage of it.
How about Dak Prescott in that game in particular? Because this is it's a tight fit. It's a 10-10 game with 7.5 minutes to go in the 4th quarter, and no picks. 3 touchdown passes, which has been the story of his career, basically. He protects the football, and he took advantage of the situation when it presented itself.
You know, he did an outstanding job in that game, and, you know, his decision-making was as good as it's ever been, and you said it. Time and time again, he checked the ball down. He threw it to the underneath receiver. He allowed us to sustain drives on 3rd down with some big 3rd down conversions. And then when there were opportunities in the game, when they pressured us, he made the right throw. He delivered a great ball, and the guys did the rest around him. So he played the game the way you're supposed to play quarterback. Great decision-making. Take what they give you. When the time comes to make a play, make it. He did it time and time again.
You can make the case that maybe the turning point in that 4th quarter was when Sean Lee stopped Sterling Shepard for a 9-yard tackle for loss there, one of 20 tackles that he had. What's it like looking at that coach's film and you're great, okay, well, there's another tackle by Sean Lee?
You know, it's kind of like what you felt when you were watching it during the game. Yeah. It's like he's everywhere. He makes plays in the running game. He makes plays in the passing game, tackles for loss. He just has a great feel and instinct for the game, but you've heard me say this many times before. His preparation is second to none. So you combine his instinct and how he prepares, it allows him to make those plays, and time again in that game, he came up with the plays that made the difference.
Now, he sat out a series in the 3rd quarter. How difficult was it to convince him? It's almost like Witten. Like, you know, Jason doesn't come off the field. Sean Lee, unless there was an injury, he doesn't come off the field. How tough was it to
Well, it was tough sledding. A lot of conversations during the week. We did want to have a plan for him coming back in his first game. And, you know, he plays in every situation for us. So we had to be very conscious of that, making sure he doesn't play too many snaps in the game. We probably took a handful of snaps off him over the course of the ball game. But, you know, he's one of those guys that makes such a difference. It's hard to get him out, but you want him there for the whole time. And, you know, Anthony Hitchens has done such a nice job. Jalen Smith getting better and better every week. So those guys handle themselves well when Sean was on the sidelines next to us.
All right, we're just getting started here on the Jason Garrett Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Morning News.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, is brought to you by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Ford is the best in Texas. The Salvation Army, doing the most good. the University of North Texas, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Reliant, an NRG company. This segment is brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. As I am Bill Jones, now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com. And as we talk about the Cowboys and what they've done the last couple of weeks, they have finally figured out it is a 60-minute game.
Certainly a reversal of fortune. You look back on that 3-game losing streak that may have changed the course of the season for them. They were outscored in the second half of those games 72-0. As we talked about before, that's just not a strategic misfiring. That's your personnel not responding. That's getting overwhelmed. Well, they've responded with a 2-game winning streak now, and they've outscored their opponents 41-7 in the second half of those games. And if you want to put an even finer point on it, they've outscored them 41-7 in the fourth quarter. So in those final 12 minutes, Dallas has just taken control of the game and done what it's needed to do to win. And
especially in the last 7 minutes of the game against the Giants, a 30-10 win. One of the things Dallas did last week, yards after catch. We don't see that much from this receiving corps.
No, you don't. Even when this team is at its best offensively, all of last year and for a significant portion of this season before the suspension of Ezekiel Elliott started being served, they didn't get a lot of yards after a catch. That's not, they ranked, I think, 31st or 32nd going into the New York game. They're efficient in the passing game, but you often hear Jason Garrett say this isn't ultimate frisbee. Guys can run after the catch. You normally don't see them do it to the extent that they did against the Giants games, but they broke a tackle. Dak did a good job of hitting his guys in stride, and they were able to break that one tackle in max blitz situations that allowed them to pick up some big yardage. And teams are going to continue to throw a max blitz at Dallas, and if they're able to execute the way they did against the Giants, that's the spark this team needs offensively.
How about in their final minute here in the NFC, now with the Carson Wentz injury with the Eagles, things are as wide open as I think I've ever seen it in the NFC as far as the playoffs are concerned.
Yeah, this is so different. Every year in the AFC, New England's going to be there. Pittsburgh's going to insert itself into the conversation. You've really had a turnover in the NFC over the last few years, and with the slow start Atlanta got off to this year, everything is wide open. And Dallas and Atlanta were two teams that were expected to be near the top this year, along with Green Bay. Because of injuries and other reasons, they're actually toward the periphery of the playoff hunt now. Minnesota, a team, as soon as you say, hey, they're under the radar, then Carolina beats them, and you go, well, look, now Carolina's in the mix. It is wide open in the NFC.
And now the Packers are getting Aaron Rodgers back. The Cowboys get Zeke Elliott back next week. Those are two teams you don't want to play in the wild card round of the playoffs. David, we appreciate it. And up next here on the Jason Garrett Show, it's Mickey Spagnola with a very special guest.
This segment was brought to you by the Dallas Morning News. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. Your home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage.
It's the Cowboys and the Oakland Raiders. It's Sunday Night Football this week, and welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. I'm Bill Jones inside the Academy Sports and Outdoors studios, and now let's head down the hallway here at the Star into Ford Center and Mickey Spagnola.
Thanks, Bill. I am with Cowboys safety and special teams ace Kayvon Frazier here. And Kayvon, you've been getting to play a lot more on the regular defense. That's got to be very meaningful for you.
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. Coming from a 6th-round draft pick to, not playing at all last year really, and now playing a lot and making a big impact. So, I mean, it's a blessing.
As this last game against the Giants, I noticed that, you've been rotating in at the safety position. You had 35 plays. My guess is that might be the most you've played on the defense in your second year here now.
Yeah, that's the most, I played in my whole career, on defense and just combined. So, it's definitely a blessing, especially coming from a 2nd-round draft pick and nobody really expecting me to make an impact like this. So, it's just making the most of, every chance I get.
Now, you're kind of getting known as a big hitter.
Yeah.
You got some big tackles out there.
Right.
Is that the way you've always played, even in college at Central Michigan?
Yeah, for sure. I was always known, as delivering a blow. So, everybody called me Hitman or the Enforcer or stuff like that. So, I'm trying to keep that name at this level. So, I just got to keep on hitting hard.
Now he's also making a name for himself on special teams, tied for the team lead with 10 tackles. Had you played special teams before in college, or is this something new to you?
Yeah, I definitely played it in college. Similar to what I'm playing now, flyer, kickoff. My senior year of college, they had to take me out of a lot because obviously I was starting on at safety, but I still was in there. I rotated in on kickoff and played punt a lot too.
So what's the secret on special teams to get down there and make tackles?
It's really just a mindset. It's basically one-on-one the whole game. Sometimes you get double, but it's basically just beating the guy in front of you. It's a mindset. It's just the competitive nature to beat the man in front of you.
Now I think the people are starting to notice you, and the Pro Bowl voting's going on, and they do pick a special teams player for the Pro Bowl. So do you want to tell everybody, hey, vote for me?
Yeah, hey, vote. Cowboy Nation, we need you. Vote for us. Everybody. Chris too. Chris been doing a good job of putting the ball in the right spot and giving us chances to go down there and make plays. Giving us enough time to get down there. So it's not just me. It's the protection guys. It started with LP. He the best center. He the best long sniper in the league. And then Chris, the best punter in the league. So, vote for all of us. We would love to go to Orlando.
Okay, appreciate your time very much.
Appreciate you.
Bill, that's Cowboys safety and special teams ace, Kayvon Frazier, the hitman, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks, Mickey and Kayvon. And when we come back here on the Jason Garrett Show, the coach rejoins me and we talk about Khalil Mack and the Oakland Raiders. It's time to go behind enemy lines here on the Jason Garrett Show with Will McClay, the Cowboys Vice President for Player Personnel. Let's take a look at these Oakland Raiders, and in particular, let's take a look at Khalil Mack. How about it?
Khalil Mack is the guy that, everybody, he rushes the passer, you're worried about him, but he's averaging 10 sacks over the last 3 years, 6'2", 240-pound guy, plays the run and rushes the passer. We're going to show here, they're going to run a run play. They think they've got it all blocked. They're going to go up double here. They're going to go right up and seal that, and they have two tight ends blocking Mr. Mack here. And you're going to see his ability to play with leverage, penetrate, and disrupt the run play. Boy, it's clean blocked. He plays off of the block. Two guys can't block him. Big play against the run.
Okay, so there he is in run defense. How about getting to the quarterback?
All right, getting to the quarterback, that's what he does. That's his specialty here. What they're going to do is now they're going to do some different things and give you a look. They're going to drop this guy. It's going to turn the protection. They're going to go in here. Okay, they've got these guys blocked off. The center's helping inside. This guy has this guy, and he's got the potential of a chipper. Watch him get off on the ball and just beat him around the edge with bend and the speed around the corner. Ball snapped. You see the get off? Then he's able to turn the corner. The best part about him, the most unique part, is the ability to turn the corner with speed, get to the quarterback.
So that's what Lyle Collins has to deal with on the right side, but they'll flip him over, and Tyron Smith will have to deal with him too, right?
Equal opportunity rusher. He's going to try and find the best matchup. Here you have him, and they're going to use him in all different kind of ways. He's outside here wide. Okay, now they move the rest of the front over here. Now he's got space to beat him. Outside, run through him, or beat him to the inside. Poor tackle's got no way to go. Here we go. We'll take a look at it. He uses the speed, sets it up, gets him outside. Oh, that thinks the back's going to chip. He beats him to the inside, and then he forces an errant throw by the quarterback. He's the guy that makes this defense run.
Yeah, that's what you call a disruptive player.
Yes.
It's that day of the week for us to kind of own up and move forward. So we've done that. For us, it's about getting ready for the next one. Whether we're being praised or whether we're being attacked, that doesn't matter. That's just the noise on the outside. But inside the building, we're being very purposeful, getting back to work.
And we welcome the head coach back here on the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Our thanks to Will McClay, looking at those edge rushers for the Raiders. And really, you look at the Raiders over the last 3 games after John Pagano takes over as defensive coordinator, and he's got Bruce Irvin and Khalil Mack coming off the edge. Seems like they may have simplified things because they're racking up some sacks. I think it's 8 sacks for the two combined over the last 3 games.
Yeah, they're really good football players. And you said it, they're great edge rushers. They have great speed, quickness, athleticism. They're very very explosive guys. And they're those kind of defensive linemen who just have a feel for getting to the quarterback. And, they're certainly very disruptive. And, we understand where those guys are. And we've got to make sure we have a good plan for them and make sure we don't allow them to affect this ball game.
What about the Raiders on offense? Of course, Derek Carr, one of the fine young quarterbacks in this league. He was out with an injury early in the year, but his numbers seem to be about the same as what they are every year.
Yeah, he's a really good football player, and you said he's a young, promising star. He's certainly the future of that franchise, and easy to see why. Very talented. He's got a big-time arm, can throw it anywhere on the field, and he has a lot of weapons outside. When you look at those receivers, the tight end, the running back, a lot of different guys they can go to, and he has a good feel for what they're trying to do, and he has an amazing ability to make some big plays in the ball game, and give those guys chances, and they typically come through for him.
Now, last week for the Raiders, they lost to Kansas City, and they had to get away from the run game a little bit because Kansas City got ahead in that game. But when you see Marshawn Lynch on film, what are you seeing?
I see the same guy that we've seen for a long, long time. He's an outstanding football player, and he's such a great competitor. He's very physical. For a guy as big as he is, he's very athletic. He's got great feet, and he's just one of those guys who's very hard to bring down. And really important for us to be a great tackling team like it is every week. But when he has the ball in his hands, we got to make sure we tackle well individually and then get a lot of hats to the ball to get him down.
You mentioned their receiving core, and Amari Cooper is injured right now. We'll see if he'll be able to go with Crabtree and with Jared Cook, the tight end. Your young corners, Jordan Lewis, the third-rounder, Cheeto Awuzie, the second-rounder, and then Xavier Woods, who's been playing in the slot there. It's a big assignment for them this week.
It sure is. Big-time guys, really talented receivers. They're big in stature. Crabtree's a big guy. He's very long. He's got big hands. He's able to make a lot of plays over the top of his head. We've seen that for a number of years. And then, Jared Cook, coming over from Green Bay, again, a long, fast, athletic tight end who can get down the field and make plays. So, Derek Carr knows where those guys are. He gives them chances. We have our work cut out for us.
Takeaways, we talk about it all the time. They're so important in this league. When you look at the Raiders, last year they were second in the league in takeaways. This year they're 32nd in the league. Sometimes it boils down to that to win a football game, doesn't it?
Yeah, you only have so many opportunities in a game. You have 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 drives in a game. And if you're able to take the ball away, that takes away a possession from them and hopefully gives you a favorable possession. And similarly, if you do a good job taking care of the football and force them, to drive the field after you punt it to them, it just changes the dynamic of field position in the game. So, we preach it more than anything else. You got to take the ball away. You got to take care of the football because it has a huge impact all around the league every week.
All right, we wrap up the Jason Garrett Show when we come back in just a moment. Welcome back to the Jason Garrett Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones along with head coach Jason Garrett, and it's our last couple of minutes of the show, so it's time for our Unsung Star of the Week. And I jotted it down as soon as it happened in the game against the Giants. When James Hanna went over the middle, made the great diving catch there, I said, Unsung Star. That's my unsung star for this week, James Hanna. Not only for making a catch like that, but you need guys like James Hanna on your team, don't you?
Yes, a recurring theme. He might be unsung to you, but he's not unsung to us. And, he's a really good football player. And, he's that second tight end. He's been, in some ways, a complimentary player throughout his career. But again, one of the themes of this show has been guys taking advantage of their opportunities. And he always does that. He's a very good blocker at the point of attack. He's a very good blocker on the backside. Whenever we throw him the ball, somehow, some way, he makes the play. The catch on the deep over the other day was a clinic reel for how to lay out for a football and then somehow keep it up off the ground as you go to the ground. And it was a big-time play for us. Really got us going offensively. He's a damn good football player.
And the thing about James, and that showed his athleticism there, but you saw it at the combine. He ran like a 4.47 at the combine. We don't get to see that, but he is a type personality and a professional that puts the team above self, right?
Yeah, and he just comes to work every day and does his job. And like I said, he's ready for opportunities. When he gets them, he cashes in on them and then just goes to the next play. And he certainly did that the rest of the ball game last week.
All right, a lunch pail guy, James Hanna,
sure
our unsung star. Jason, we appreciate it. Good luck in Oakland. And we will see you again next week right here on The Jason Garrett Show.
The Jason Garrett Show, presented by Reliant, was brought to you by Ford. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Susan G. Komen, reminding you that early detection saves lives. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. and by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full access to coaches' films and game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.